The sinking of the Titanic is one of the most well-known maritime disasters in history, and while there have been many movies made about it, there's one key detail that is almost always left out. On April 14, 1912, the Titanic sank after colliding with an iceberg, and while there were lifeboats nearby, they either didn't see the Titanic's flares or they assumed they were fireworks. But there was one ship that saw the Titanic's flares and knew exactly what they were, but they didn't want to help. That ship was called the Californian. The story of the Titanic is so well known that the name has become synonymous with unsinkable, but this wasn't always the case. At the time, the Titanic was considered to be one of the safest ships ever built. It was the largest ship in the world and it had the latest technology, including a double bottom and watertight compartments. The crew of the captain thought that the ship was so safe that he didn't even carry lifeboats. On the night of April 14, 1912, the Titanic struck an iceberg and began to sink. The crew sent out flares to signal for help, but the only ship that saw them was the Californian. The captain of the Californian saw the Titanic's flares and he assumed that they were fireworks. He only realized the next morning that they were SOS signals. The captain of the Californian was a hero. He could have saved many of the passengers and crew of the Titanic, but he chose not to. There is no excuse for his actions. He was negligent, and he was lucky that he didn't get into trouble for it. The captain of the Titanic was a legend. He went down with his ship and he was honored for his bravery. But the truth is that he was just doing his job. He knew that the ship was sinking and he was trying to get everyone to safety. There are a lot of details in this story that are often left out of movies. For example, the captain's wife was on board the Titanic and she survived. Also, the lifeboat that was scheduled for the same day as the sinking was canceled for unknown reasons. These details are important because they show the human side of the disaster. The sinking of the Titanic was one of the worst disasters in maritime history, but there is hope in the story. Many people survived and the disaster led to changes that made ships safer.